Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I am sharing something that I am really passionate and excited about, and that is my tips on how to be more feminine and ladylike. This is something that many of you have been requesting for quite a while, years even, and I can't believe I'm just now getting around to doing it, but I'm really excited about this one. I'm so happy to share my tips with you, and I hope that they help you out. So before I get into it, I do want to make a little disclaimer. I feel like I always need to do this, so feel free to skip ahead if you want. But when it comes to how to be feminine or how to be X, Y, and Z, anything really, take it with a grain of salt. These tips are my opinion only, and these are things that I have noticed in my life as a very feminine person and as someone that has always been on the more feminine side of the spectrum, as well as in the lives of others that I have witnessed. So I've come to this conclusion on my own. These are not a hard and fast rules that you have to follow in order to be feminine. Like I have said in the past, we all have feminine and masculine traits, and I feel like that's really important to be a balanced person. So you do not have to go fully feminine in order to be feminine. Don't feel like you just have to be on one side. It is really important to have a little bit of both. For example, I play guitar, I love to hike, I love building things, but I'm also very girly. I love pink, I love frills, I almost always wear a dress. So see what I mean? Like there's a balance there. And yeah, so I just want to make that clear. Don't feel bad if you don't fall into one of these areas, or if you don't do a certain thing. It doesn't mean that you're not feminine or that you can't become more feminine. I just want to point that out before I get into it. Now that that's out of the way, let me touch briefly on my feminine journey. So I have always been a very feminine person, and to be honest, I don't really know where this came from. I feel like this has just been ingrained in me, and it's not something that happened to me. It's just really who I am and who I've always been. My mom is actually very much a tomboy, which is so funny. Like, we're best friends, but we are total opposites in the style department. It's so funny. So really, I don't know where I got this love of dresses and dressing up and doing my hair and my makeup and pink and sparkle. Like, I really just don't know where I got that, but it's always been who I am. And ever since then, even all through school and even through college and into adulthood, I've always been really drawn to feminine clothing, lifestyle, interior design, really like anything having to do with that. And my hobbies do tend to be more on the feminine side as well, but I do have a good mix of masculine as well. But I just want to say that femininity comes really naturally to me. Now, I understand that this is not the case with a lot of people, and that's totally fine. And I feel like there has been a surge in people wanting to be more feminine, which makes my heart smile, because this is something that I feel is a long lost art. And femininity is something that I really believe in and that I love to share in order to encourage other people to embrace their feminine side or dress a little bit more femininely, and just keeping the art of femininity alive. While I've seen an increase in femininity content and how to dress more feminine, how to be more feminine, and the like, I do have to say that it has not always been like this. I've been like this my whole life, and more often than not, I was made fun of, I was looked down on, people would call me names, people would give me weird looks, they would think I was weird for the way I was dressed or the things that I liked naturally, and we shouldn't do that, like, ever. But to be honest, it is what it is, and I'm really happy to see that people are now embracing more of their femininity. When I started this channel, I shared a video called Why It's Okay to Be a Girly Girl, and to date, this is still one of my very favorite videos, and I think that a lot of people really appreciate it and can really identify with it as well. I shared my femininity journey as well as my journey to being an individual and really embracing who I am, getting over the struggles of being made fun of, and turning it into a positive. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, which I feel like it would be, then definitely check that out right here. But with that being said, I'm really glad that there has been a strong push in a positive direction for femininity, and I'm really excited to share my tips. So I hope that you are excited to hear them. Let's get into it. When it comes to being feminine and ladylike, I feel like there's three distinct parts. There's dressing the part, acting the part, and being the part. So let's start with dressing the part. Looking feminine is all about dressing feminine, and while there are traditional feminine ways to dress, don't feel like you have to be something that you're not and dress in a way that is not authentic to you. By sharing my tips, I want to encourage you to embrace your femininity without losing who you are as a person and what makes you special and unique. If you didn't know, aside from being on YouTube, I also have a blog that is based primarily on feminine fashion. So if you ever need any outfit ideas or anything like that, take a look at it. You can follow along right here, LizzieandLace.com. You'll be sure to find lots of feminine fashion inspiration and lots of other feminine things as well. But that being said, I feel like I'm really knowledgeable in this area, in the styling area. So I feel like I have a lot of tips to share right here, and I could honestly make another video just based on fashion. So if you want to see that, let me know in a comment below, and I will just make a video based on how to dress more feminine. When it comes to dressing feminine, dresses and skirts are traditionally more feminine. So if you are wanting that obvious feminine look, then I highly recommend going for one of those. Personally, I love dresses and skirts that nip in at the waist to give that really beautiful feminine silhouette. And I find that this is what works best on my body type, and it's the most flattering for me, and it just makes me feel really good to have that kind of silhouette. So I feel like if you are looking for something that screams obvious femininity, then I would go for something like that, like a high-waisted skirt or a dress that kind of has like a little fit and flare design. However, I think that it is really important to work with your body type and what looks best on you, and also what you're most comfortable in and what you feel the most beautiful in. So do take that into account. Don't feel like you have to cut off your circulation or anything like that in order to achieve a feminine look. There are other silhouettes that work really well as long as you have feminine details, fabrics, and prints and that sort of thing, and I will get into that in just a second. So let's say that you are not a dress kind of gal, and that's totally fine. There are many, many ways that you can still look feminine without wearing a dress or a skirt. In this case, look for feminine details on your clothing like bows, ruffles, pin tucking, embellishments, and feminine details like a softer collar or some really pretty pearl buttons. It's really all in the details. Another easy way to do this is to look for feminine fabrics like lace, tulle, chiffon, tweed, silk, etc. For colors, I recommend lighter neutrals, pastels, and even certain shades of your favorite colors. So I would go on the lighter end or the darker end, so more like pastel-y sorbet colors or really pretty like deep fall jewel tone colors. I think that those are very feminine and pretty. And also look for prints like floral prints. I think that the smaller ones tend to look a little bit more feminine, but you can also go larger with the prints depending on what your personal style is. And polka dots are always really feminine as well. And there's a lot of other prints that have that feminine look. I could honestly share a lot about fashion, but I feel like we would be here all day. So I will leave some of my blog posts down below that I think will be really helpful in this area. Feel free to check them out in the description box. And I do have a quiz on my website about feminine style personalities. So if you do have a feminine style, but you're not really sure what type it is, then feel free to take the quiz. It's free. I'll link that down below as well. And that is something I'm actually going to get more in depth about, so stay tuned for that, and feel free to follow along. Now let's move on from fashion to hygiene, because I do feel like this is really important when it comes to femininity. Proper hygiene is essential, but it doesn't have to be excessive, meaning you don't have to do like an hour-long skincare routine or anything like that. Just taking care of yourself goes a long way. Personally, I really love to indulge in self-care, and I try to set aside as much time as I can because, let's face it, I'm busy, we're all busy, so we can't just have like a self-care day every single day. My bare minimum is my morning and nighttime skincare routine. I do not go without doing my skincare routine, and I also wear SPF every single day. If I have a bit more time, then I love using my facial tools or a steamer. I also try to indulge in an at-home spa day, like once a week or once every other week at the very least, and this would be bubble bath, face mask, a hair mask, and then a DIY mani-pedi. And I know this sounds like a lot, but you do not have to do this. These are just things that make me feel really good about myself, and it's all about feeling your best, right? So that's why I do it. I don't necessarily do it to be more feminine. It's just more of like a self-care thing and a stress reliever, and it just makes me feel really good. So I would say in this area, just do what makes you feel good. You just do want to put some effort in. Even something as mundane as taking a shower can become a luxury experience. So I have a shower radio that I love to use, and I usually listen to oldies or maybe something upbeat. It really depends on my mood, but I usually take my showers in the morning, so it's a little more upbeat to get me on the right track for the day. And I recently started using shower bombs. I don't do it all the time. It's just kind of like whenever I feel like it, but they release scent into the shower, and so it makes it a little more spa-like. And another way to do this would be to indulge in some really nice hair care or body care products like a scrub, or even like a really nice face wash or something like that. Something that makes you feel good, something that makes your experience that much more special. And this might seem super simple, but brushing your teeth, washing your face, brushing your hair, these all go a long way in taking care of yourself, and they're really simple. Things like shaving, waxing, and plucking give off a more feminine look, but I know this is not everyone's cup of tea, so definitely do what makes you feel comfortable and most authentically you. Also, I forgot to mention in the fashion section, but appearance-wise, a steamer will be your best friend. It just upgrades your look by 1,000,000%, I promise, and it is really affordable, so it's not that much of an investment, but I promise it will upgrade your look so much. Let's get into hair and makeup. I feel like hair and makeup is definitely a personal choice, as is everything else, but some people don't like wearing makeup, and that's totally fine. So if that's you, then I would just say, you know, keep your face clean and moisturized, do your skincare routine, and maybe put on like a tinted moisturizer and call it a day. But for those of you that do like makeup, I do feel like makeup goes a long way in creating a very feminine look. Personally, I like to treat my makeup time like my self-care time, so I always try to indulge in little things. So I'll put on some light music or a podcast or a YouTube video or something like that, and I'll have, you know, maybe like a little juice or some tea or something like that. So I make it a thing, and for me, it's like really relaxing. I don't have time to do that all the time, obviously, and my makeup changes day to day and depending what I'm doing. For filming, photo shoots, and special occasions, I go full glam and do a face full of makeup. For every day, I usually just do some BB cream, mascara, lip gloss, and maybe like a little cheek tint. And for my super lazy days, I just put on tinted SPF and call it a day. So it really just depends. For feminine looking makeup, I feel like it's really important to not go too overboard in terms of techniques and colors and that sort of thing. I feel like it's best to stay with more classic, timeless, and natural looks. And if you are someone that loves to experiment with makeup, it's not the end of the world. If you like to play with color or something like that, then I would just say use it in moderation. Put emphasis on one feature. Your eyes or your lips are usually a safe bet. And most importantly, wear colors that suit your complexion and your eye color. I love to wear lots of pinky shades on my eyes. I mean, I love pink as a color and I wear it all the time, but I have green eyes and pink really kind of brings them out a little bit more, so I really love to emphasize that. Speaking of which, play up the features that you love the most and that make you feel the most beautiful. When I was younger, I was actually made fun of for having large lips, and it kind of like tore me down a little bit, but as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate them a lot more, and this is a feature that I really love to emphasize. I love wearing lipstick and using lip products, and I wear lip masks every single night. So whatever you love the most, put an emphasis on that. As for hair, I think the most important thing is just to make sure that it looks clean. Like makeup, feminine hairstyling looks best when it's classic and natural and timeless. You can embrace your natural hair for an effortless look or go the more polished route. I feel like this is something that depends on what you're most comfortable with, what suits your face and your features, and realistically what you have time for. Personally, I'm really basic with my hair. I would say 95% of the time it looks like this. It's down and it's curled and that's it. The other 5% of the time, I love creating simple ponytails or braids or half up, half down hairstyles. And I really love embellishing those with hair accessories like hair bows and barrettes, clips, and headbands, of course. Hair accessories are definitely not for everyone, but it's something that I really love, and I feel like it does add to the feminine look overall. It's almost like jewelry for your hair. So I would say for most people, just make sure it's like clean and brushed, but if you want to go overboard, then add some hair accessories. And actually, I do have a video on that. A lot of people think, well, I'm too old for hair accessories, or how do you wear them as an adult? I can answer that right here, so definitely check out that video. When it comes to nails, I just recommend keeping them trimmed and clean. For nail polish, I recommend lighter hues, nude tones, and pastel shades, and even clear nail polish. I personally really love pale pinks and mauves. I feel like it looks really girly and feminine and polished and put together. It goes with a lot of different outfits, and I don't have to constantly do my nails. Personally, I don't get my nails done, and that's just because I play guitar. So they're always cut pretty short, but I do like to keep them polished and looking pretty. I'm not against like having long nails or anything like that. I think that when you do have that, in order to be perceived as a little more feminine, it's important to have them not look too long or too short, but again, I think that that is a personal preference. And now for the finishing touch, fragrance. I absolutely love fragrances. I have the collection of all collections. So if you love fragrance too, then you will definitely love that. I'll leave a link to the video in the description box. But I feel like fragrance is a really, really simple way to give off a more feminine feel. You can be wearing jeans and a t-shirt and a really lovely soft fragrance and still come off as feminine. The power of perfume is pretty amazing, and I feel like for this one, your scent will depend on your personal preference and what you like personally. So feminine fragrances usually have a floral note, so like rose or something like that. It can have a sweet note like vanilla, and sometimes they can be woodsy as well, but don't feel like you have to box yourself into fragrances that are florally, fruity, sweet, woodsy, that sort of thing. You can go for a more clean scent or even a more masculine scent if you feel like that best represents you. Honestly, just the fact that you smell good automatically comes off as more feminine. Now we are entering into part 2, and this is acting the part. Although your clothing, makeup, and hair choices can make you look more feminine, your demeanor is what makes you come off as more feminine. This doesn't mean that you have to change who you are to become a different person, but there are some behaviors that are more feminine than others, and incorporating some of these will help you to become more feminine. The first of that would be proper etiquette. I feel like etiquette is kind of like in the dark ages now. It feels like a long lost art, but I do feel like this is really important for everyone, but I do feel like it's really important, especially for being feminine. And it's not difficult at all. It's really just common courtesies to yourself and to other people. Being respectful, kind, empathetic, and understanding to yourself and others goes a long way. Utilize phrases like please, thank you, and excuse me, and don't forget to smile. When it comes to etiquette, there is a misconception that you have to be prim and proper at all times, and that there are hard and fast rules on this. Many people also think that you have to be of a certain status or that you have to be rich in order to have proper etiquette, and this could not be further from the truth. Being kind and considerate has nothing to do with your socioeconomic background. While it's true that there are certain rules when it comes to table placement and settings, manners, sitting positions, etc., those are not necessarily things that you have to utilize in order to be more feminine. However, I do notice that most feminine women are genuinely interested in these, and no matter how you grew up, they can easily be learned. Let's talk about good posture. Having good posture can make you appear more feminine and elegant, no matter your height or your size. Sitting, standing, and walking in a ladylike manner will only increase your femininity. I actually find that lack of confidence is one reason for lacking good posture, but this can be fixed, of course. Trust me, I have been there, and I just want you all to know that you are beautiful and wonderful, and you deserve to shine. And lastly, let's talk about ladylike speech. Speaking like a lady will only increase your femininity. Crude language, vulgar language, swearing, and shouting is generally seen as more masculine. So if you do any of these, then it's going to decrease your femininity. This doesn't mean that you have to completely change the way you speak and be something you're not, but it's just something to be aware of, especially when you're around other people. You can be assertive without being pushy and rude, and you can be funny without being provocative and crude. Knowing how to balance your authentic self with the appropriateness of the situation will be really helpful. And honestly, when it comes to something like this, I would say that when you are in a group setting or around other people, it's all about perception. So I would probably stray away from these things. But again, you don't have to give up who you are to become something you're not. I should also mention that complimenting other people is seen as a more feminine behavior, but don't forget to compliment yourself as well. And now we get to part 3, and that is being the part. We're going to start this one off with friendships. So I feel like socializing with other feminine women will in turn make you more feminine. And by more women, I mean supportive women that you can learn and grow from. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of toxic friendships out there, and I have had my fair share of them. And actually, I did a whole video about female friendships, and if that is something that you are interested in, then check that out right here. But yeah, I've had my fair share of toxic friendships, and it really does you no favors. Just know that you do not have to stay in friendships that are not good for you mentally, emotionally, or in any other way. And if that means that you have to go it alone for a while, then that's totally fine. Work on yourself and do the things that help you learn and grow as a person. And hopefully that will help you to attract more like-minded women. Ideally, you would want to help each other learn and grow and evolve into the women that you want to be. Try to find friends who are supportive of the person you are right now. And I realize this is much easier said than done, personal experience talking, but yeah, I do also have a video on my experience with Bumble BFF, and I have a blog post on that as well, so you can check those out in the description box if that's something you're interested in. And lastly, let's talk about confidence, because I feel like in order to be feminine, you have to be confident in some aspect. You have to be confident in yourself and how you look and the things that you do. I think that a lot of people have the wrong idea about feminine women. They think that feminine women are quiet and meek and weak and so many other things, and that's not necessarily true. I think that the ideal feminine woman is friendly and approachable and confident in herself. She knows who she is and she embraces her uniqueness. Owning your confidence and unique charm is the key to being more feminine. Confidence is something that I feel like a lot of women lack, and I totally get it. Being confident in yourself, especially if you were bullied or made fun of at any time in your life, is really tough. You second guess yourself and your abilities. You harshly judge yourself for no reason at all, and you never feel quite good enough for anyone or anything, not even for yourself. And if you're in this place, do not despair. You can get out of it. I did, and I know you can too. If this is you, take time to heal, move on from the past, and move toward a brighter future. Embrace your inner and outer confidence, because when you think about it, we only get one life to live, so why wouldn't you want to feel your best? Be confident in your looks, your skin, your body, your style, your attitude, your personality, everything. Just be confident in who you are. Know that you are unique and beautiful and wonderful just as you are. I really hope that these tips helped you to become more feminine and ladylike, and that they helped you somehow in your femininity journey. These are personally just things that I like to do or that I have come across during this journey of my own. And if you have any to add yourself, feel free to leave a comment below. I'm always open to learning more, and I would love to know what you have to share. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to share and subscribe. I would love to have you as part of the community. I share lots of feminine content all the time, feminine style, beauty, and lifestyle content. If you want me to expand on any of these topics, just let me know in a comment, and I would love to do a whole video on each section or whatever you would like more info on. And if you want to see even more girly feminine content, make sure to check out my blog, LizzieandLace.com. I post on there 3 times a week. As I said, lots of feminine style, so lots of good outfit inspo for you. And be sure to follow along on my pretty pink Instagram at LizzieandLace for more feminine content and daily life. I will see you next time. Bye!